So to talk about the Grizzlies for a second, the grit and grind era is kind of over, although it is a new time with Ja Morant, Brandon Clark, and all those guys, and Jaren Jackson Jr. The Grizzlies had a good draft. They drafted Ja Morant, the Nets franchise point guard. The guy averaged 25, 10, and 5 in college. The first guy to average 20 plus and 10 assists a game. They're going down the right direction. They were good to get Mike Conley off their books for some assets. They got Grayson Allen back in the return. Decent shooting guard. I think this gives him a chance to restart and hit reset and probably get an opportunity to play a lot more than what he was doing in Utah. I mean, granted, Utah was a playoff team, and he wasn't going to get as much playing time there just simply because of that, so they had to send him to the G League. I mean, a lot of people call Grayson Allen garbage, but he's actually a pretty decent athlete to have on your team. I mean, the guy can shoot threes. He's got a wingspan of like 6'10", 6'11". He's got some reach. He's a little bit more athletic than people give him credit for. I think it's just a matter of him getting adjusted to the NBA. I mean, the best way to do that is to get guys to play, and he wasn't doing that in Utah, and just simply because they were a playoff team with playoff dreams. So, I mean, yeah, could he possibly be garbage completely? Yeah, that is a possibility. I just don't really believe that's the case with him. But then, having a point guard like Ja Morant kind of just creating for himself and others and being so aggressive on the offensive end, I think that'll bode well for Grayson Allen on that end. Now we can get to Brandon Clark, the 21st pick, who they kind of slid back in and grabbed when nobody really picked them up. I think Brandon Clark is probably your all-around, do-it-all power forward. I think that was a great pick for those guys. Somebody that's blocking shots. He's 6'8", got a big body. He's ready to play now. I think he kind of comes in and mans down that power forward spot. I think Jaren Jackson slides to center now that Mark Gasol's out the picture. I don't know how much they'll really prioritize, Jonas Valanciunas, even though he can't help those guys win. You could see Brandon Clark play the small forward, but then you have Kyle Anderson there. I don't know if they really have given up on him yet. I don't know if his potential is really unlocked. But, it's just a lot of things that could go right or wrong with this pick. Brandon Clark being, the question is, he shot the best field goal percentage in the whole college nation. But I mean, how many of those were like floaters and, lobs in the basket, post moves and stuff like that. I mean, he's very efficient for a guy who, is projected to be a high motor Draymond Green. But, we'll just have to see him in this system. I mean, I think Ja Morant makes a lot of guys better, and I think him bringing that to the league, and especially with this Memphis Grizzlies team, is going to bode well for everybody. I think Jaren Jackson Jr. will improve on last season because he was definitely in the Rookie of the Year race due to injuries, he couldn't really play that much. Jaren Jackson's like a 6'11", 7-foot center. He had that one game where he was going off and shooting threes out the wazoo. So, I mean, that's definitely something for Grizzly fans to look forward to. Also, you have, I would say Grayson Allen. The thing about him is he's a wing player, but I think he would be he might be an okay defender soon, but I don't think he's quite there yet. It's going to be a stretch to get him there, but I mean, it's definitely someone else to look forward to. Then you kind of have Ja Morant, where we all know he's going to be Ja Morant. I mean, the guy's coming in day one with at that point guard position and is going to have the keys to this franchise. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they do. They're going to be a young team. They'll lose games, of course. They won't be at the top of the West. I have somebody argue with me that they were going to be in the playoffs next year. Yeah, okay, keep dreaming. And they were like, who's in the West? Well, did you really ask that question? That's like asking, who is Biggie? Yeah, exactly. But, the Grizzlies are in a good spot for a rebuild. They kind of jump-started a little bit. And that's the thing with most of these teams. These guys had to hit full rebuilds, but they're not exactly jump-starting it. Like, they're hitting the button on rebuild, but they're getting assets to the point where they may not have to be in sorry for too long now at this point. I mean, and we've seen with the draft how the draft was getting random as hell. And you really can't, just hope to get a bad pick because now, as we're seeing, the Chicago Bulls and the Knicks and the Suns were tanking like crazy, and they end up with the 6th, 7th, and 3rd pick, respectively. And it kind of just didn't work anymore. So this draft lottery rearrangements got to have teams being competitive no matter what. So, I mean, it's good for the league. And, I mean, yeah, we'll see how this works. So that's pretty much all I have to say about the Grizzlies, grit and grind point 2. So, yeah.